You know, if Microsoft was willing to double the price of Xbox Live, it really makes me wonder if they have anything else that would be cause for concern. Let's hope not, because honestly, I'm still interested in the Xbox Series X because of Fable and Perfect Dark. Though I would like to see some gameplay sometime soon, Microsoft, and not a CGI trailer. In this video, we're going to talk about some of the latest video game news and topics this week, which includes Microsoft's plan to double the price of Xbox Live Gold, some rumors surrounding the development of the Resident Evil 4 remake. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to be kept up on the latest video game news, subscribe to the channel and leave your thoughts down below. So Microsoft has been doing a really good job when it comes to the marketing of the Xbox Series X and even the launch somewhat if you were able to get your hands on an Xbox Series X. They spent the last 2 years setting up the Xbox Series X as this huge powerhouse with backwards compatibility. And in Game Pass, that is one of the best, if not the best, bang for your buck when it comes to getting the most out of your Xbox platform and throwing in xCloud plus all these purchasings of the different studios like Bethesda, which is a huge move in itself. And you can say, yeah, Xbox is making a lot of great moves, especially when it comes to consumer-friendly ones. Again, for the most part. But if you look deeper and kind of in between the lines of these past 2 years, there have been some head-scratching moments. A lot of 2 steps forward and 1 step back, like the promise of next-gen game reveals, and it turns out it was just a whole bunch of CGI trailers back at Inside Xbox, which was a long time ago, or what it seemed like a long time ago anyways. And this really is just the newest one that luckily Xbox realized that it could have dealt a huge blow to the momentum of the Xbox Series X, and that is of course what would have been a price increase if Xbox didn't go back on their word, which usually is a negative thing when a company does it, but this is definitely a positive thing. So unless you've been living under a rock lately, you probably heard about the price increase of the Xbox Live Gold. For 1 month, the increase was going to be $1, in 3 months was going to be $5, and 6 months was going to be $20, making a whole year of Xbox Live Gold $120. And when you really think about it, this is more than you're actually paying for the actual games to play online with, which is just insane and just a dumb move on their part, or would have been a dumb move, I should say. So why would Xbox do something like this? Well, kind of to force Game Pass Ultimate on players. At $15 per month, a year of Game Pass Ultimate would run $180 compared to $120 you would need to spend if you got 6 months of 2 Xbox Live Gold subscriptions. Microsoft isn't really hiding this goal. In its post, it details that it's looking to upgrade from Gold to Game Pass Ultimate will have any remaining Gold time automatically. Now you can bet this didn't really go over well with players, and they did voice their thoughts online about this dumb price increase. And one thing that shocked me is that people were actually defending this move. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't see how anyone can sit there and say, yeah, I can't wait to spend more money on a service that I am already using, and I'm gonna be forced to use this service that I don't want. Now some other people did make some valid points on the other side of the coin, like, well, what if you just want to play online and not Game Pass? Some people said they already have a huge backlog and that's why they don't want Game Pass. Forcing it on players isn't really the best thing or even the smartest thing to do. Now luckily Microsoft did backtrack on this whole ordeal, and this is what they said. "We messed up today. You were right to let us know," Microsoft said late Friday in an update to a blog post that had announced the higher pricing for the online gaming service. "Connecting and playing with friends is a vital part of gaming, and we failed to meet the expectations of the players who can count on it every day. As a result, we have decided not to change the Xbox Live Gold pricing." And I'm gonna be honest here, this is kind of a pretty scummy thing to do considering that we're in a pandemic and a lot of people don't really have a lot of money, and that $60 could be used for food or pay part of a bill or something else. What kind of company would just sit there and think, yeah, let's increase the price while there's a pandemic and people are short on cash? That's corporate greed for you. And let's be honest here, if the players didn't say anything and were not loud enough online, the big wigs wouldn't take their butts out of their heads or their heads out of their butts, and they wouldn't have gone with this. They would have 100% did this. They also probably did know that this was a crappy decision, and because of the monetary gain that they would have had if they went with this, they probably went with it anyways. Luckily, we were loud enough to voice our complaints and they changed it back. Now there are people saying that this is a PR stunt, something to gain points with the gamers and the industry overall, but I don't think that's the case because there were pictures of actual cards with the prices on them. These cards were being sent to retailers, so I don't think that's it. I think Microsoft was going to do this. But in the end, I'm glad they didn't, because like I said in the intro, I'm still interested in the Xbox Series X, so if I were to buy one whenever the stock becomes normal, and of course it's not hard to find, it's nice to know that I won't be paying paying $120 a year to play online with my friends, and have Game Pass forced on me, although I do plan on getting Game Pass anyways. Actually, I have it on PC, so I already have Game Pass, I just don't have an Xbox platform, or console I should say. I mean, it was $1, can you blame me? And moving on to the next topic of this video, we have some Resident Evil 4 Remake rumors about its development and direction, even to what kind of remake it could be. So this happened after the reveal of the Resident Evil 8 and the internet went crazy over the Vampire Queen. Honestly, I still need to draw up my version of it. Now, I myself have never finished Resident Evil 4, I have played it, but I've never finished it, but I know it's celebrated as one of those Resident Evil games that is nearly untouchable. I have a lot of memories actually watching my friend play it on the PS2 if I recall. In other words, too much change could ruin this remake, but the right change could improve it. It seems that the trouble here, or the rumored trouble, is what kind of remake should this be? What direction should it go in? The leadership of the Resident Evil 4 remake has been having disagreements on the direction of the game according to Video Game Chronicle's sources. Now, according to the report last year, the game has been in development since 2018, which means by now they should be pretty far in development. The fact that they're having disagreements is a huge red flag. This could cause conflict with multiple aspects of this game, like the environmental design, the controls, the gameplay, even right down to the story itself, or maybe even having part of the game not even be in the final remake. If you remember, in Resident Evil 3, some areas weren't even included in the final game, so this could happen for the Resident Evil 4 remake, and if that area is very important to the game, then it could cause huge problems with the overall quality of this remake. And that's just one of my concerns. There are a ton of other concerns. I mean, look no further to the recent game Cyberpunk 2077 that has had a lot of development problems, and we know how that turned out. Now, speaking more on some of the disagreements of the leadership, this is what multiple sources, not just one, have said. However, multiple sources have indicated that following a key project review last year, it was decided that M2's role on Resident Evil 4 Remake would be significantly reduced. Capcom's Division 1, the internal team responsible for Resident Evil and Devil May Cry games, has now been brought in to lead the Resident Evil 4 project, VGC understands. It's believed that the disagreements that led to M2's reduced role involved the studio's desire to stick faithfully to the template of the original Resident Evil 4 remake, partly influenced by backlash to Resident Evil 3's remake, which does not include a significant portion of the original PlayStation game, much to fans' disappointment. And this next paragraph actually has me really worried about this game. Like, this is sounding like the Resident Evil 3 remake all over again. Capcom's production team, however, is said to prefer a direction which would see Resident Evil 4's remake inspired by the original, but with its own unique take on features, story elements, and environments, not necessarily confined to the blueprint of the original, similar to Resident Evil 2's use of Mr. X. Now, I actually got this from the article before I actually typed out the paragraph when I was talking about how I was worried about story elements and features and different things about the original game that won't make it into the Resident Evil 4 remake. And now that I'm reading this actually has me worried. But again, in that paragraph, I did say that it could end up being good on its own. And they do say, like Resident Evil 2's use of Mr. X, which was one of the things that I think players really liked. Sometimes they liked. I did see some clips of people raging. But overall, I would say that it was a pretty cool thing. But again, if they do it too far, or they change something that doesn't make sense, or people don't like it, it could ruin the experience. So I think they have to walk a very fine line when it comes to the Resident Evil 4 remake. Now, sources also said that the Resident Evil 4 remake would be a partial reboot under a new mandate, which could see a release in 2023, which would be a delayed release date, indicating that it could have been released before 2023, which makes a lot of sense since it was in development since 2018, which was a report from last year. Now, if they do a partial reboot, this is going to affect how the game performs. There is a lot of fans that don't want any sort of reboot on this game. What they would like is an updated environment, graphic-wise I mean, and controls, and just an overall upgrade over some of the design choices of the original game that modern mechanics would fix. If they do a partial reboot and change key things from the game, it could end up having a negative effect on the overall experience of the game. In my opinion, M2 was in the right here. The remake was the way to go, not the partial reboot. But again, this is a rumor, so it could all be hogwash, so take it with a grain of salt. Oh, and by the way, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more gaming news. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, stay safe, stay charged, and have a good one.